Alright guys, so we're going to go through the ripping process, and again, on that little dude you saw I filled in the actual concrete cinder blocks correctly so I didn't have to deal with the hell that I had to deal with earlier. And it actually gives us a way better rip, and besides that, this is going to be used in the play space, so geometry density is a little higher, and we also, we're just going to pay a little bit more attention on this guy than we did previously. We're going to do a bunch of cleanup work. And then we're going to place it. The basic principles are, the exact same that you guys have seen at this point. As this kind of like making of, or it's not even really making of, it's literally watching me work. As this thing continues on, there's less and less for me to say. So I'm not going to sit here and narrate and talk your ears off. I do really suggest that you guys just have this thing on another monitor or something, and just kind of have it play in the background as you guys are building stuff, because you're going to catch things, or if you're starting to build assets, just so you guys can kind of get a walkthrough and an understanding of how I work, and it's pretty beneficial, I think, to see other people's workflows, which is why I did this and just didn't do a straight, this is how you make a normal map video. You're going to get that from me, but this is also a little extra, so it might be overkill, but hopefully it helps at least some of you guys out, because it is quite a bit of work. Not only do you make it, but you got to talk back over it, which is exciting. No, it's not. I can assure you it's really not. But yeah, I'll let you guys watch this, and you don't have to listen to me drone on and on and on, and hopefully it helps you out. Talk to you. Bye.
the other world of pain. For myself, she's going to bed. Cannot be free, I'm falling down. Time runs out, some of these deaths at the very sun, waiting for your money. Just a boy from the other world, like a leaf in an icy world. Memories will fade. All the bliss and music will be gone. With a very strong family for a while, and the moment of death of a smile. It's the time to say that raise the hands and praise the day. Praise the stars, show me the way. In decay, the flame of mine will shine bright. The new charge will carry you into the hall. The new of death will be a blessing to us all. Good choice, bad choice. Out of freedom, show the misery. With the music night, bad choice. Oh, and the only answer love will conquer. So the judgment's been made to the fairest that waits for death. The seed of messy peace. I feel that something's wrong. Oh, your time goes by, and you still kept out of sight. We
So basically what's about to happen here is I'm going to obviously import this rubble pile, but the next thing that we're going to do, we'll obviously set up the shader the exact same way that we've been setting it up. Why break what doesn't work, or why fix what already works? But I'm going to start to do more destruction, and I'm going to start to do that off of basically the existing assets. So it really does help out a ton to actually have a base that you can pull from. And again, remember, at any given point in this process, you guys can go in Alt-P and walk around your assets, and I really recommend you guys do that. Always constantly be looking at this stuff. I'm starting to get into this layering process here, meaning that you have your main play space and there's spaces beyond that. Especially if you're designing a space for VR or you're designing a space, for games in general, it's really nice to have that. In VR, like a lot of the parallax and the occlusion stuff really does help a ton. So you get that pretty nicely. Yeah, it's in a pretty good space. And again, here we go. We're about ready to fracture out this wall. This little process here, we're going to use Pro Cutter to do it. Use some splines and extrude the splines. Add a little bit of noise to them after we add some divisions in them. And this gives you a really nice kind of very controlled way of doing fragmentation. Rayfire is also a great way to do it. I use Rayfire a lot. But if you guys need to actually really get in there and kind of control stuff, it's really good to go in and do that with Rayfire. The intersections, like where the broken pieces are and that kind of stuff, I end up worrying about that towards the very end, and I end up patching it with a brick kit that I ended up making, and I just kind of patch it where I need to, so I'm not paying for excessive amounts of geometry or anything like that. It's just kind of really basing it off of what you see. Pro Cutter takes a little bit of work to get to fire off, but you collapse the objects, essentially, you're cutting objects. And then you pretty much check every checkbox in there, and voila. That's what you do. You basically have your cutter object and your cutter objects, and then the object you want to have cut, and you tell it to auto-explode the mesh. And then what we'll do is we're going to make sure all the pivots are in the same, at their center or at a central point. Because when we export this into Unreal, we're going to want to have all these assets automatically align. Because there are some situations where we obviously don't want the objects to be apart. We could be in a situation where we have to actually do destruction, right? And those, and actually the pivots would actually be center aligned, or group node, or parented to a bone. But you'd want their alignment to be correct when you import the multiple assets. And if you import multiple assets in Unreal, unless you tell it not to, it will make extra material. So you're going to want to delete those after the fact, or just not check the checkbox, which helps. But again, you can see here, if I grab all those assets, and I only selected a few of them, exported a few of them, they're all going to align in the same position. The UVs, the textures, everything's going to work because it's using that existing art asset, which is really nice. And Unreal is really good about that. So, keep that in mind, and you can kind of move things around. You could also manually realign the pivot, which is what I was doing here. If your camera gets into a weird space, just Alt and left mouse click and pull back, and you should be in a good spot. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do.